Hello and welcome to Surviving the Narcissist. This is Wanda. And on this channel, we look at narcissistic abuse from a personal, professional, and spiritual perspective. And on today's episode, we're going to look a little bit about what's going on with Diddy, Sean Puffy, Diddy Combs trial. And the reason why I'm discussing this is because everybody's saying that it was consensual. Uh, the women and people involved, it was consensual. And so we're going to focus on manipulation tactics that narcissists use to make people comply. So if you're being manipulated by a narcissist, and we know that narcissists are into control and power, well, they're going to do what they have to do to get you to comply. So I'm going to look at three techniques that it appeared from me, looking at reading the testimony and what went on with the various women with testimony. I'm going to focus on their testimony as opposed to the sex workers that were paid because we know that they weren't manipulated, they got paid. Um, so one of the techniques is love bombing through "You're my soulmate." So a lot of these women, they purported that they thought that they had a relationship, a romantic relationship, a relationship that was about love and respect and caring. And narcissists aren't don't have the capacity to have those kind of relationships. So the first manipulation tactic that was used is to make these women feel that they were special. They were Diddy's girlfriend or whatever they thought they were in the relationship. The second technique that he used is kind of like an innocent posture or persona in the sense that he made it seem like, oh, get a hotel room, do this and do that. So along with the fact that they thought that they had a special relationship with him, they wanted to please him. And so that goes along with, I want to comply. It's a form of brainwashing. Uh, you're manipulated and you're brainwashed and you're in situations that, well, how did I get here? So another thing that uh, came out during the testimonies is that he downplayed what the women were saying. Even though it appeared that they consented, but I don't think they consented the way that the lawyers are trying to say they consented. I think they were manipulated and brainwashed and they consented. Another thing, by him being a very powerful man, you have a very wealthy man. Of course, he used his money. So it came out that some of the people were promised different things. And even if they weren't promised different things, just having a job and being around a person like that is intoxicating. It goes along with the gaslighting. And so another technique that they use is, now you owe me. Well, I did this for you. I did this. They were in Martha's Vineyard. They was at his white party. They were traveling all around the world. They were meeting celebrities. They were at the Grammys. A lot of these people were his assistants. Well, you owe me. So I did all this for you, and the only thing I'm asking you to do is uh, engage in something that I want you to engage in. Another thing is the threats. And so that's another reason I say that the women were trained to comply. It wasn't consensual because they were fearful. They testified that, well, we saw the tape. He beat on women. Uh, when they cried or said that they didn't want to do it anymore, or they were tired of it, they were forced to do it. He ignored them. So that's when you diminish or you discard. That's a form of discarding. Because, well, I needed you to do what I wanted you to do, but now you're being discarded emotionally as far as how you feel about what I'm asking you to do. Which it never came out in the trial that he was sexually participating. His participation sexually was that he was watching what was being done. He was more of a voyeur. So that's why people are saying that, well, this case seems more about them exposing his sexual proclivity or his kinks or whatever he liked. But okay, but he liked watching other people being sexually abused. He liked watching other people engage in things that were degrading. So that goes along with the narcissistic traits, that you only care about your satisfaction and you don't care about the people that you're engaging in your satisfaction. So they were threatened. He was angry. He called them names. Somebody testified that he held them over a balcony. So he used fear. So fear is a manipulative technique. And when I look at this whole case, because I was a victim of narcissistic abuse, I can see the things that were done to me as a childhood, because it's a trust issue. Then you do feel like you owe people things or you owe them your salary because it's guilt tripping. And then if you step out of line, whether in my case, I told somebody and the abuse stopped. So then it's the uh, retribution and punishment because you didn't stay in your place or you didn't stay in the place that I wanted you to stay in. And I just want to know, what is your comments? I know that the trial is over, the testimony is over, the jury is out. But what do you think about them saying that, well, they didn't really prove their case because it was consensual? And I want to know that, do you feel that from the women's point of view, it was consensual, not the people that were paid, like the sex workers that were paid? But do you feel like it was consensual? Do you feel like everybody in that case might have been manipulated? The staff, um, the women, uh, us, as, us as former fans, in the sense that the people that the music that he produced, that was kind of like the music that I was partying to in college. So I wasn't necessarily a fan of his, but a fan of the fact that he was a music producer and he was um, affiliated with a lot of music that I liked. And don't forget to comment on your feelings in general. Also, has it been a trigger for you? Because some of the things that I heard that he allegedly did to some of the women, it was a trigger. It really was a trigger. And then for me as a woman. And then another thing, please like, subscribe, and share. And visit my website because I'm a narcissistic abuse survivor, thriver, I'm an overcomer, and I'm a life coach. And there's a lot of information that I have on the website that it can be useful. But the one lesson that I think that we can learn or we can take is have boundaries. For women, that's out here have boundaries. So a boundary is saying no. A boundary is standing in your no. A boundary is if somebody asks you to do anything that you don't want to do, you have the right to refuse to do it. Um, and I just think that it's just a sad commentary on this society that they would actually think that everything that went on or that we saw in the past, I can't remember how many days of this trial, was consensual. No woman would consent to that unless it was manipulation, um, brainwashing. You don't feel that you can leave. You don't feel that you can get out because you're being threatened. You think you owe them. It's a lot of uh, narcissistic abuse, um, trauma that was came out during this case. And until next time, and I'm going to end here because, as you can see, I am kind of getting triggered because, people tend to, because narcissists are very manipulative and they're master manipulators. They tend to believe the narcissist and don't believe us, who were the targets or abused by the narcissist. And until next time, be safe and be blessed.